Good morning, Sport Beach, and good morning, Kunal.
Morning.
Welcome to Can Day 3.
Thank you.
We are so happy to have you here in the studio with us today. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's terrific. We are here at the sort of center of sport and marketing. We know, of course, that diet and nutrition are so fundamental to athletes' performance. It's also really fundamental, the efficient use of resources in animal nutrition. And that is, of course, what dsm-firmenich specializes in, is animal nutrition and the performance in agriculture. Tell us a little bit about those parallels that you see.
Wow. What a perfect question to begin this interview at Sports Beach. Well, first of all, hi to all the viewers. And Samara, if you think about elite athletes, performance or better performance is not about more. It's about precision. The right ingredients, the right diet, the right nutrients, in the right balance, at the right time, with the right amount of sleep. And a coach who's constantly looking at that data, monitoring it, measuring it, and providing that input to the athlete so that the athlete's body can then convert that input into peak performance. And not one time, but consistently, efficiently, and sustainably. And the parallel, the question that you asked, in animal nutrition, we are trying to solve similar challenge. We are moving that industry from just feeding the animals to moving towards precision nutrition. So that's really what we're trying to do. And at dsm-firmenich Animal Nutrition and Health, we combine the power of science, innovation, data, technology, with the aim to optimize the system in such a way that it's beneficial to the animals, to the farmers, and ultimately to the planet. Because the reality is that we are looking at a growing population and we need to produce food for that growing population.
This is very important.
Exactly. In a way that can be done with lesser resources, less water, less environmental footprint. And therefore the question that we ask ourselves is that how do we deliver that performance with lesser inputs? Because every kilo of feed, every liter of water, every hour of labor, that needs to be optimized. And that's where the work that we do, the scientific ingredients that we come up with, our vitamins, our eubiotics, our nutrition solutions, are all tailored to deliver on that promise. Just for you and for the audience to know how that works. Basically what that means is that with our portfolio of products and services, we can help improve the gut health of the animal so that they can absorb the nutrients effectively, just like a human body. They can, with the work that we do, we can help reduce their reliance on antibiotics through the smart and targeted nutritional solutions that we provide, especially the antibiotics that are used for growth promotion. So we want to avoid that. And we can also, with the work that we do precision feeding, and through the life cycle assessment, we can help in reducing emissions and waste, something that this industry gets a lot of, reputation or bad reputation for. So we want to avoid that. So all of this are examples of things that we're doing. And you should just think about it that we are providing a toolkit to a farm just the way a coach provides a toolkit to an athlete. That's the parallel. That's really what we do.
The thing I was so interested to learn is that it's both on the ingredient and the feed itself, but also in the use of technology.
Absolutely. So, our digital and data platforms, they just act like a dashboard that a coach uses. I'll give you one example. One of our precision services, Verax, it looks at the biomarker data, the health data of a poultry animal, and then gives predictive signals to our poultry producers well ahead of time, which allows the poultry producers to change the nutrition, fine-tune the nutrition to get more for their farm and from their animal. So that's one example. But I must say one thing, Samara, all of this sounds very complex, and it's important that we simplify that complexity. And that's where personally my own consumer marketing background comes into play, because it's important for us that we make these stories, these proof points, not only tangible and credible, but easy to understand and simple for our customers and the players in the value chain to implement, to act on.
Yes.
Only then we can really make an impact. So that's to conclude on this parallel between sport and our industry, I sometimes think that the way the athletes are chasing every millisecond, similarly the farmer is feeding millions, and on both sides, what they're trying to get is optimum performance, optimum output, but in a consistent way, in a sustainable way, and in an efficient way.
Down to the millisecond.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. I mean, it's a nice transition also to what you were talking about, storytelling, the importance of it being relatable and understandable and have story at its center.
Right.
What, now being so focused on B2B marketing, you have a very different audience.
Right.
What do you feel that B2B marketers can learn from consumer marketers, and injecting some of that heart into communications, some of that human into communications?
Yes, I like this question. It's something that speaks to me, and I would even stretch it to that. What can we learn not only from consumer marketing, but also we're here at Sports Beat. What can we learn from sport? And I personally believe that marketers should move away from this language that they use of war terminology. A language like guerrilla warfare, ambush, strike, all of those things. They should embrace the language of sport. I mean, the language of sport is beautiful. It talks about discipline, the passion, integrity, respect,
Teamwork.
willingness to win, teamwork. This is what B2B marketing needs. I mean, if you think about it, the lesson that sport teaches is universal for all of us. There is commitment, there's clear goals, there's clarity of what they want to achieve. And if you think back, sport can be a metaphor for B2B, because tough days, long seasons, tough competition, and the need to be there every single day.
Niche audiences.
Exactly. That's really what we are, in a similar boat. And I saw this here yesterday as well. I mean, fans don't love just the statistics.
Right.
That's the outcome. They love the personality, the athlete, the story behind that, the journey behind that. Our B2B buyers are very similar. And I believe we're in the business of storytelling. And when it comes to storytelling, getting the attention, unifying the audience, bringing that tension, celebrating the win, sport is the best playbook. And there's so much that we can take from sport. So I believe that, if B2B marketers want to bring in emotion in their communication, they should start thinking less like soldiers and more like athletes.
I love it. I love it. And let the record show that we have been chatting for quite a few minutes without mentioning AI. Yet.
Which is a rare occasion.
Which is
indeed.
a rare occasion here at Cannes,
Yes.
and even at Sport Beach.
Yes.
But here we go, and I think it's very relevant to the conversation. You have such diverse experience within global marketing across geographies and categories and organizations. How has that diversity of your experience shaped the way that you now view what's happening in AI today and its application to our disciplines?
Yeah, no, I think you can't close a conversation without speaking about AI. That's fair. But I want to take a step back and say that with my years in global marketing, I personally believe there are two truths. That's what I've seen. One is that the fundamentals of marketing do not change, irrespective of the category, the industry, the country, or the tech evolution that's happening. And what do I mean by that? As a good marketer, you still have to know your customer and your consumer deeply. Their pain points, their challenge, their motivation, their aspirations. You need to know that. And then, what's the role of your product and brand in their lives? That's very important. And therefore, do you have a clear and a strong value proposition that connects with them? Do you have a very solid and aligned strategy? And more than that, a stronger execution element? And do you have clear monitoring and measurement aspects in place? Those are extremely important. Samara, I believe that marketers who embrace this will not only continue to thrive irrespective of the technical evolution, but they will keep the world of marketing beautiful, magical, and trustworthy.
Here's to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, because look, as long as a marketer knows what they're going after, why they're doing it, what's the problem they're solving, the sophistication of the technology is not as important. This is the fundamental. That's my first truth. The second truth is that technology is transient, human truth is permanent. Now, that doesn't mean that AI will go away. I'm saying that AI is going to stay here. In fact, AI is going to help us a lot. AI is going to dig insights faster and deeper than we had ever imagined. It's going to surface patterns that we had not even thought of. It's going to scale up creativity, content creation. But below that, the foundation is deep human truth, insight, emotion, empathy. We can't walk away from that. And what that means is that AI will take the benchmark of marketing much higher. We will start seeing marketing getting better. Why will that happen? Simply because AI will take off the time of the marketers, the time that they spend in mundane, repetitive tasks,
Right.
which are not helping in brand building. AI will take that off. But I can also tell you that what's going to happen is that we will enter a phase where we'll see much more mediocre work coming from many brands till the LLMs and the large language models start cleaning that up, and better work starts coming out. So we'll have to live through that phase. But I think it's worth living through that phase. So I think that's important. And my only other closing comment on this is that, look, coming from global marketing, I look at AI from two lenses: ambition and caution. Ambition because AI has immense potential we've not even thought of, potential which we can't even imagine right now. But caution because I worked on global brands, and it's very important to be very mindful of the cultural nuances of every market.
Absolutely.
Right? And AI can sometimes be tone deaf, be culturally insensitive. So you have to protect yourself from that ethical, moral guardrails, from those cultural and societal norms. And most importantly, even if you use AI, you still need to have deep respect for your customer and what that customer wants in each and every market.
Yeah, and a human understanding.
That
right?
goes without saying,
Right.
absolutely.
I think part of what you're sort of speaking to is the importance of balance, right? And we know that marketing has always been a balance. There are some of what we call our right brain thinkers,
Yes.
right? Some of what we call our left brain thinkers. And, we know that AI is maybe tipping the scales a bit in managing the sort of data end of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
How do you think fundamentally this is going to be changing the makeup of our industry as we look forward?
Yeah. Look, I come from the B2B industry where logic tends to dominate, and I'm a big believer of the right brain philosophy even in this sector. For some reason, I don't know why, but a lot of marketers in this industry believe that as long as you talk about the functional aspects and the technical benefits of a product, the job is done. They tend to forget that the B2B customer is as human as a B2C consumer. In fact, the new age B2B customers, they are spending the same amount of time on social media platforms. They have similar media consumption habits. They are laughing at the same TikTok videos.
They're people with families.
Absolutely,
and
sharing the same
joys and
Instagram
struggles.
reels, all of that. So I sometimes wonder, and therefore, why would you not bring emotions into your communication and storytelling? I mean, who gave the memo that B2B has to be boring to boring?
Let's hope not.
So yeah, and then so emotional is not an optionality. I think emotion is, and especially in a time where machines will start generating more and more content, multiple variations of the content, it's emotion and empathy which will help us to do better storytelling and will help certain brands and marketers differentiate themselves from many others. I believe in that. In fact, before dsm-firmenich, I used to lead Kit Kat as a brand, a famous chocolate brand, which I'm sure everyone in the audience knows. The strapline of Kit Kat, have a break, have a Kit Kat, and the positioning around break has been there for more than 70 years. And it's not a product, it's not a ritual, it's now an emotional element that speaks to every customer, every consumer. And I just wonder, why can't B2B marketers think like that? Because in the world of machines, that's only one thing that's going to matter. That's consistency. Consistency in brand truth, in brand positioning, in brand properties. And therefore the challenge that for all of us is that how do you deliver that consistency along with creativity without losing your credibility?
There you have it. You
Yeah.
heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Kunal, bringing the human story back to B2B marketing does not need to be boring to boring.
Doesn't happen.
I love it. That's a wrap.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.